Guys, this is going to be quite a boring sort of chat, but it's quite a meaningful one to quite a lot of people as well. It's not a very nice subject, unfortunately it's a worldwide known problem. So I'm just going to basically just carry on painting. I've only got the flesh tone to do on this little warrior, and I've finished the warriors and the Ripper Swarms or whatever you want to call them, and then I've just got to get on with the rest of the painting for these guys. But oh, that's ready. But while I'm painting, I'm just gonna sit and chat. I mean, I know I haven't exactly had a lot of videos out in the past month, or maybe longer. There is a reason. I know I'm not the only one that suffers from it. Everyone in the world suffers from depression. Now, there is multiple forms of depression. There are some serious forms which can cost people their lives, and it often frequently destroys people's lives. It's not a very nice subject to talk about, and it's not a really very nice to go through. There's a lot of people with it, there's a lot of people that know people that go through it, but then they don't really realise that they go through it themselves. Everyone in the world suffers from depression. It's just not well known. Depression, it's not all about, oh my god, I don't want to live my life, I hate my life, blah blah blah, I had all these major issues happen to me and I don't really care about the world anymore. That's not what depression is. Depression is anything. I mean, the happiest man in the world, the happiest and most richest man in the world, or woman, but he can still suffer from depression. Depression is a demon that won't go away, and it's inside every single one of us. It can literally come in any form. There's some people who might have, beg my pardon if I've hit a soft subject for you, but depression is a major thing. But there is people that have lost a child. That's a major form of depression right there. There's people that have lost family members, just basically losing people you love. That's an instant depression, and that's a major form of depression, because there's multiple different forms of it. It's not just based on the most serious things though. I mean, the richest man in the world, like I said, can suffer from depression. The most minor forms of depression are controllable, but it's still a depression. You could literally buy yourself a scratch card, and when you scratched it all off, find out you didn't win anything. It's a minor form of depression, a very minor one, which is easily sorted out, but the whole idea that you didn't win is a form of depression. Depression comes in many different forms. The people that go through the worst of it, I would love to help. I would absolutely love to share any advice that I possibly think up, or help in any kind of way, because it's a demon that's not going to go away ever. Depression's been around since the dawn of time, and it's going to stay around. We can't get rid of it. It is impossible to defeat depression. The only way we can deal with it is by learning to deal with it, by helping each other out. And this community that we've got, Warhammer wise, it is absolutely fantastic. We always help each other out. We do anything we can for each other. It's a brilliant, fantastic community. I mean, there are other people out there that won't care. They'll just literally walk past you in the street. When I suffer depression, I tend to kind of sulk away into a corner and not want to contact anyone and not be in contact with anyone. So I shut myself away from the world. It's a kind of the moment when I literally just want to be on my own in a dark room without anyone interfering with my nothing of a life, because at that point in time my mind is set at making me believe, I absolutely thoroughly believe at that point, that life is shit. You just don't want to be here because there's nothing for me. Now, I know some people are saying, what about your son? Too right. Absolutely too right. Now, before I had Tristan, when I suffered depression, it could last a year. My depression could last throughout an entire year, where I wouldn't have no contact with anyone. I would literally just come home from school or work or whatever it was before Tristan, and I'd lock myself in my room, and I'd say it, I got stoned. I went out, I got loads of weed, I got completely stoned, and I just sat in my room playing computer games, just ignoring the world. I wouldn't even have a headset on and playing online games. I just couldn't be bothered. I just didn't want to be in contact with anyone. It's changed with Tristan. My life has severely changed. I mean, break up with his mum, that's a completely different issue. It wasn't depression that broke us up, but it caused a bit more depression. But going through how I go through it now, Tristan helps me big time. He doesn't know that he helps me, but he seriously does help me when I do go off. Well, I mean, I'm coming out of my depressive mode now, which is why you're starting to get videos back. Basically, Tristan came into my room the other day and said, "Daddy, I'm getting really bored. Can we please go out and do something?" What? I don't know what's the matter with Daddy, but you're not talking that much. And it was them few little words from my son that kicked me in the face and said, "Look, you've seriously got to get up. You've got more to life than sulking in a corner." And I got up. I took him out camping. Obviously, I don't go through and smoke a load of weed now, but having Tristan, it's helped me out immensely. And it took a couple of weeks of Tristan noticing that I wasn't right, that there was something wrong. It took a couple of weeks of him, well, spending more time with my mum because he didn't want to spend time with me. But I managed to work your way for it and that lot. And now, me and Tristan are playing, we're going out, we're having fun. I'm getting out of the whole depressive mode and spending a lot more time with him, like I should be. Now here's the thing. Simple little things that can help people with depression. Absolutely the most simple little things. It's not always going to work because everyone's depression is different. There is no two forms of depression in the same two people. You get war veterans that come off and they've seen their best buddies blown to bits, and it changes a man. you'll never know that person, the person you knew before you saw that, ever again. And that is a major form of depression right there, which they actually gave a name to. So some ways you can help, some ways you can't. Some people say that it's best to give people time to get over it. That's true in some cases. That is very true in some cases. But it's not in others. You need something strong and hard to kick you in the teeth, or someone to say the right thing at the right time to get you out of the funk, get you wanting to live your life again, get you up, get you have the energy in that lot. Speaking of energy, when I go into a depressive mode, I drink a crap load of energy drinks because I want to carry on fighting for Tristan. I want to carry on doing things for him, but I don't have the energy. I get drained completely. It's like I've gone on for a week's worth of running and not sleeping, and I just can't get up. So when it comes to depression, it's not just a mental thing, unfortunately. It is physical. This is how bad depression can affect people. And it's not just the energy draining, it's not just the mental fortitude of trying to lock yourself away because no one's there to help you. There is people out there to help you, but you don't look for it. Your mindset's completely separate from everyone else when you're depressed. It's a demon, it needs fighting, but there is no way of fighting it straight on at the moment because there's so many different varieties of depression. I'm sorry, but this is going to be dragging on this video. Unfortunately, it's going to be the same throughout, so if you get bored, please turn off. But I digress. When it comes to depression, my entire family suffer from depression except for Tristan. I'm not surprised if he does suffer a minor form of depression because he sees what I go through, which is going to give him a minor form of depression. I know that, and I'm fighting to not let him know, but unfortunately it's something that he's going to always see. I've helped lots and lots of people out with depression through the years. I'm trying to use my knowledge to help people out, and things that happened to me in my life, I'm trying to use that to help people. Obviously I'm not going to mention anyone I've helped. I'm not going to mention any of their issues that I helped them with, because that is extremely personal. That's not things you tell people about. That'll just put them straight into a depressive mode. But I have no issues telling you why I've got depression. There is specific names that I can't mention for court order purposes. I don't fancy going to prison when I'm trying to fight for Tristan at the moment. Fight for him to be happy. I'm not fighting him for care or whatever. There's no problem with that whatsoever. But me, in my life, I am at the moment writing a book about my life. It's taken me, I was 19, 32 now, 12 years, or 11, whatever it is. But throughout my life, when I was a kid, my whole life, my whole family's life, it seemed like the perfect childhood, absolutely perfect childhood. But there was a major secret hidden within the family that no one knew about. Unfortunately, it all came out. The whole family secrets that no one knew about. No one in the family even knew about. Everyone in my family, as far back as anyone can remember, so this is going to great nannies and granddads and all that lot, as far back as anyone can remember, has either raped someone or been raped by someone. And more than often than anyone would ever like, it's usually within the family itself. It's usually the people that you would least expect it to be. My granddad tried mum, brother tried little sister. It's literally just every single member of the family. I found out, I thought all the way through until I was 24 that I'd never been raped. I know I've never raped anyone. I couldn't after everything's gone on. No way. I'm not that sort of person. But I thought all that time that I was the only person, that I was going to break this apparent 100-year gypsy curse on our family. I had discovered at 24 years old that when I was only a couple of months old, I was molested by my auntie. Now, I can say, hand on heart, that hasn't affected my life in any way whatsoever. I don't care about that because I don't remember it. But then you think of what does affect me. Every single family member, every single one of them, including my twin sister. Yes, I was a twin. Big word, was. They'd all been raped. They'd all raped someone. Countless family members going to prison, no one knew why. And it took my twin sister putting up with the person that was doing it to her all the way through from the age of, now listen carefully, my twin sister was 8, and it went all the way through till she was 13 to be able to go and phone someone and ask for help. She phoned Child Services and asked for help, and it was that phone call that changed our entire family. Everything came out. No one knew that every member of the family had either been raped or raped someone. There's only a handful of people within the family that have raped people or tried to, and it took my twin sister to come out with it. It took for everything to come out. We ended up finding out that my dad raped my big sister and my twin sister, and he was going to rape my little sister, but because my twin sister had everything come out, she'd saved my little sister. So my little sister was taken into foster care. The foster carers, it's a catch-22 with government officials. I like them for saving my entire family, but I dislike them because of what they did for my little sister. They have made her thoroughly believe herself that she should not have any contact with her family whatsoever, not even the ones that were raped and are after fighting to get the family back together as a family. My little sister now thoroughly believes that we were trying to kill her. Social services have twisted her mind and made her believe that braking a car, you know, like driving along, you've gone through a puddle, you got to test the brakes. That testing of the brakes, we tried to kill her. It's complete and utter load of twaddle. But social workers, we've been blacklisted because of Ben. Well, sorry, I can't say his name, but because of my dad. And because he was our dad and no one knew anything that was going through the family, no one thoroughly believed what my twin sister was saying. You don't. I mean, you think you've lived your life, you've got your family, and then you find out your brother or your sister or your dad has been doing this to a family member. You don't believe it at first at all, because it can't be true. It's the perfect family. It can't be true. Unfortunately, in our case, it was. And because we didn't believe her straight away, my little sister was taken away, put into care. Best place for her. But then now she's been made to believe by the social services that we're trying to kill her. Absolute load of twaddle, but we'll let it go because at least she's safe. She's away from our family. She's away from all the people that could harm her, even though all them people are gone. All them people that caused all that trouble within my family, they've all gone. My dad was sentenced for 10 years. 10 years he was sentenced. And then he only served 3. How's that justice? How is that justice at all? Sentenced for 10 years for raping his own daughters, and he only serves 3. That's not justice. The justice system don't work. But then it gets worse. The day he was released, the prison release team came round to our house, to me, my mum and my twin sister. My little brother, he was in a foster care. My little sister, he was in foster care. So it was just me, my twin sister and my mum. And the prison release team turned around to us and said, I hope you don't mind, but we're going to release your dad in the same area that you're living. My specific words to the police officers is, if I see him on the streets, I'm going to fucking kill him. Excuse my language. The police officers, they said that's absolutely fine. My twin sister, she went off to a counsellor, started asking for help. The counsellor didn't listen to what she was not saying. 2 weeks later, we was babysitting my twin sister's little baby. She didn't come to pick up the little baby. We didn't know what was going on. 2 hours went by. We had no contact from her whatsoever. Her boyfriend was due to come home soon. I'll speak about him in a minute. So we started hitting the phone, trying to find out where she was. I finally got a phone call back from her boyfriend, saying that she's dead. Saying that my twin sister is on the end of the rope in the living room. So we shot in the car. I was carrying her little baby in my arms at the time. We shot down to there, and my mum, my brother was at home at that time. He managed to come home for a short time, but my mum, my brother, my mum's boyfriend all ran into my twin sister's house. I could hear the screams, I could hear the cutlery being thrown out the drawers as I was unstrapping my twin sister's baby from the car. I unstrapped the baby from the car, still in the car seat. I turned around and my twin sister's boyfriend had sheepishly come out of a bush. Battery had died. But yeah, when he came out of the bush, I looked up and I saw him, and immediately he legged it. He knew full well that he'd done something wrong. He knew full well that he needed to get out of there quick, and he ran. I went into my twin sister's house and I saw her dangling from the end of a rope. So I put down her baby and turned the pushchair, not the pushchair, the car seat to face away from her, so that the baby, no matter how young it was, would never have the image of his mother. And we had to wait for the ambulance to turn up. We managed to cut her down, but there was no way. So, what did my twin sister's last boyfriend do? It wasn't just him. Every single boyfriend that my twin sister was with, all the way from when the family broke up, all her life, she had been raped by every single boyfriend. A good 9 or 10 boyfriends. So she'd gone through exactly the same thing that she went through with our dad, with every single boyfriend. In fact, no, there was one guy, he was in the Army Cadets. He was a really nice guy. He was the only boyfriend she ever had that was actually worth it. Unfortunately, he died in a motorbike accident. Robert Hobden, brilliant bloke. But yes, all the other boyfriends, including her last one. Now, I won't mention his name because of court order things and because of her son. But I quite often had my twin sister come round to our house crying in my arms, telling me of things that her boyfriend had done. Now, there's no evidence, so I can't show the courts. It's all hearsay, which is not good enough. So imagine how I feel. I know everything that he did to her, and I can't prove it. There was one time when she came home and came back to our house, and she told us, or told me, crying in my arms, that she'd just cleaned up the bedding, the sperm stained bedding, because her boyfriend wanted to sleep with another woman in her bed and made her clean it up when she got home. There was another time when she heard some noises downstairs. She was in bed, and when she went downstairs, she found her boyfriend, or her last boyfriend, masturbating to porn with the baby in his arms. Yeah. Don't sound like a very nice guy, does he? But because there's no evidence, guess who's got the son? Because there's no evidence, the bloke who led my twin sister to commit suicide because of the depression that she went through with our dad, also helped out by the prison release team telling us that. I say that it's technical murder. My dad knew what he did. The prison release team knew what he did, and her last boyfriend knew what our dad put her through, and still put her through it again himself. Now, it can't be classed as murder because he didn't do it, but I call it technical murder because he knew it. Nothing we can do about that. He's still got the boy. We're not allowed to talk to him at all. We can send a card, and we're supposed to get a photo of him once a year so we can at least see him growing up. We haven't. We don't get photo anymore. We still keep sending Easter eggs, Christmas presents, birthday cards. In fact, I dropped off the birthday card today for him. It's going to be 7 now. But yeah, so they've all got away with it. They've all technically murdered my twin. And what makes it worse for me is, do you know the old sayings that a twin can feel everything the other twin can? Well, me and my twin, we used to play tricks on each other. We used to walk off into another room, and we used to pinch ourselves, and the other one would always feel it. There was one time in school that my twin sister was walking down the corridors with her boyfriend's hand up her shirt, and he was flicking a lighter. My whole back burnt, and when I got back home I found out that my twin sister was in hospital because I didn't actually see her in school. But because he was flicking a lighter up her shirt, he burnt her top off, and she is sent to hospital straight from school. There was another one that obviously raped her, and that was quite a young age as well. I think that was like 10. So yeah, we could feel each other's pains. And then on that day that she did it, me and my mum, we just paid my twin sister a visit, and then we left. A couple hours after we left, I started feeling tight in the throat, and I turned around and I begged my mum to drive us over there because I wasn't driving at the time. And my mum just turned around and said, no, we've only just come back from there. She's absolutely fine. We'll just look after her baby and wait for her phone call. The phone call that never came. So yes, I felt my twin sister as she was doing it. She was a good 20 miles away. Yeah, not very nice. But I digress. That's all in the past now. It's been a long time. I'm writing this book. Unfortunately, the book is proving to be very difficult for me because, well, I'm dyslexic. I've hit a brick wall. I don't know how to continue. I quite often pick up the book and then the dyslexia kicks in instantly because it knows what point I've got to at the book. Can't really do it. Anyway, social services, they've blacklisted us. They've even threatened me. There's one social worker that has turned around and said to me before I ever got Tristan, if I put 1 foot out of place at all, they're going to take my kids away, whatever kids I have. That social worker is still trying, and she's got nothing whatsoever, no reasons to take my son away whatsoever, because they don't ever get a reason, because I'm not that type of person. So yes, depression, family, it's a big issue. But what I'm doing is, because I have saved a lot of people in my life, I'm trying to help people with it as best as I possibly can. Obviously, millions of forms of depression. I'm not going to be able to help everyone. Everyone's got different forms. I can only help by, honestly, I have to talk to them. I have to get to know them. There's just so much you have to do to be able to get through to someone with depression. It's not an easy task. I mean, they've got antidepressants out. It's useless. Most antidepressants don't even do anything. They just make you believe it, and because you believe it, then you think they're doing something. But it takes very, very strong antidepressants to do anything, and if you ever come off of it, you get even more depressed. So what's the point? I'm not living on a drug. No thanks. I'd much rather have a reason to fight it myself. I found my reason. Tristan. He is my reason. I'll fight for him for the end of the world. Yeah. If anyone does have any issues that they want to discuss, then please do get in contact. I'll help as much as I possibly can, and if I can't help you over the messengers on here or something, then we'll sort out a way to chat in more secure, either Facebook or some kind of messaging service, whatever. It don't matter, it make no difference. Just be able to chat more securely, so you don't have to tell everyone your problems, because, well, they're your problems, not everyone else's. Now, people meet me in the streets, people that know me. No one, except for my mum, knows what I go through. In fact, this recent lot of depression for me, not even my mum knows how to get me out of it. And it was the most simplest and the most pathetic reason on why it kicked off for me. I put way too much into a date. I was trying to be way too romantic in one day. Nothing went wrong whatsoever, but the date got cancelled. It wasn't her fault. She had to cancel it. She had a perfectly good reason, because her daughter is extremely disabled. And because I'd put too much into it, I'd accidentally put myself into depression when it didn't go off. We're still talking. We're still very much liking each other and trying to set up other dates. I've pushed my way through this depression, and I've come out the other side. So yeah, it's not looking too bad. It's all looking good. We're trying to set up other dates at the moment, me and her. But because because of what I've been through, it took me a little while to be able to get back in contact with her, and but Tristan helped me out, obviously. Obviously Tristan doesn't know that he helps me. He doesn't know anything that he helps me. But that's good. I've got my little helper that doesn't know he's my little helper, just because I love him so much. And that's the way it should be. Some people, they won't be able to use a loved one the way I do. They need that little extra boost. They need that reminder. Some people, even that reminder won't help. Everyone's different. There's no way of helping everyone the same way. You have to get to know them, you have to speak to them, you have to listen. That's the most important thing. You have to listen. And you can literally be helping someone 1 minute, and in the next minute you can place one tiny insignificant word out of place, and you can push them further into depression. That's why listening is the most important thing. Obviously my family history and stories, they go a lot deeper than what I've just told you. A hell of a lot deeper. There's a hell of a lot more. Everything that I've told you now is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to my family. Hence why I'm writing a book. Because there is no way I could possibly put my entire life into one book. People watch EastEnders and go, "Oh, that can't be true. How could there be so many people with problems down one street?" Seriously? Look at your own life, mate. Look at your own problems. Then you look at everyone's problems in your one house. Right? You put your house and your family into your neighbour's house, it's exactly the same. You've then got two houses. Every family goes through their own problems. Everyone in the whole world suffers from depression in one way or another. The only problem is people keep their stuff too personal. They don't talk. Depression stops them from wanting to talk to people. As soon as you find that one person that you can talk to about your life, and as soon as you can find someone that you can open up to and tell everything who you've gone through in your life that is possible for starting a major depression, that's the person you need. That right there is the person you need, because then they know everything. You've got someone you can talk to. And I would say the best person to be able to talk to is your partner. If you can tell your wife or your husband what you've gone through, and then they can understand what you've gone through, then it would be so much easier for them to help you, for them to get you out of that depressive mode, because that depressive mode is not worth staying in at all. And Tristan's helping me. He doesn't know he's helping me, but he is that person for me. So the strongest cure against depression is communication. Communication is the most powerful thing on the planet. I've helped someone before with this saying, and it is so damn true. I'll say it again. A bunch of monkeys learn how to communicate to each other, how to show each other how to live, how to eat, what to hunt. It took a while, but one of them monkeys learned how to make fire. And because the monkeys learned how to communicate, it was so much easier to show all the other monkeys through communication on how to make fire, which made evolution possible. Communication. These monkeys, they got so good at communicating and giving fire that they eventually managed to make communication as in hand language, writing, talking. So these monkeys evolved into the human race. The human race got so good at communicating that they eventually made devices so they could talk to people the other side of the planet at the same time. That's evolution for you. All because of communication. That's how powerful communication is. So all it is learn how to talk, learn how to communicate, open up to people, and one day you'll find someone that can help you out of any situation. These monkeys, these bunch of monkeys, have evolved into us. And yeah, that is the main cure, or not a cure, but the main help towards depression is communication. Unfortunately, there is no way to force people to communicate. I could easily say, if you're depressed, give me a call, but then when you're depressed, depression is the demon that fights communication. When you are depressed, you don't want to communicate with anyone, which is the main problem with depression. You shut yourself away, and if you go through a really nasty batch of depression, then you're going to shut yourself even deeper. Then there's not much help anyone can do. But yeah, I'll try and wrap this video up a bit quicker if I can for you, because I've just finished off painting the flesh tone. So yes, I haven't been making videos because of depression. I'm out of it. You're getting videos. I'm cheering up. So it's been for Tristan's killed the demon this time, and it'll come back. I can guarantee that. Obviously there's a hell of a lot more in my family. Suicides for a main thing. Every single member of my family, apart from me and my son, have tried to commit suicide. Me, I was 5, literally put a knife to my chest, a very sharp knife, put it to my chest, looked down and went, what's the point in that, and put the knife down. That was my suicide attempt. Other people, like my brother, tried 450 different varieties of pills. Thankfully they fought against each other. Wake up pills, sleep pills, energy pills, muscle relaxants, there's a lot. They were fighting against each other, counteracting each other. So he survived, just. But yeah, obviously if there's anyone that does want help or just wants to talk, just get in contact with me and we'll talk, whatever. Otherwise, yeah, I think the only thing I can possibly say now is communicate, talk to people, find that one person that you are freely able to open up to. Tell them everything, absolutely everything. Sit down with them, have a longer conversation with them, because it's so much easier if they take one step out of line. It's so much easier just to remind them about something they've said wrong than it is to sit down and have the whole long conversation with them and explain it all to them. You're with your wife, son, daughter, girlfriend, whatever. It's best for them to know. It is better for them to know, because then you can remind them and they'll automatically know what they've said and they'll know how to repair it or reword, whatever. So yes, stay in communication with your loved one, stay in communication with the person that you find that you have been able to tell everything to, because they will help. They are the biggest help. If they know you're depressed and they know you don't want to be in contact with anyone and you're sulking away into a corner like I do, they'll give you a little bit of time. They'll know to give you a little bit of time because you don't want to talk to anyone. And then after a couple of days, they'll know what to do, even if it's just a simple cup of tea. They can just come in with a cup of tea, sit down beside you and just sit there quietly. It's a simple solution, and that will start a conversation and everything will be able to come out again. They'll already know about everything and they'll be able to help you out of the depression. Won't always work. I can guarantee it won't always work because there's so many different forms of depression. But I think this video's gone on long enough. Get in contact with me if you want to speak more about it. I won't be putting up any more videos like this. Yeah, take it easy guys.